Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good
Good
afternoon,
afternoon,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Not a quick here today. Okay. Um, we continue with our hospitality, and I have to share the screen with you. So, did you all understand yesterday whatever was taught to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you put your cameras on for about 5 minutes? What happened? No cameras on? Any one of you? Okay, very good. Can anybody of you tell me what is the definition of a heritage hotel? Why no boys are putting on the camera, only the girls? Anybody can tell me what's the definition of a heritage hotel? What is a heritage hotel? Can anybody answer that? Yes, Nimisha, can you answer that?
Ma'am, I was absent yesterday.
Okay. Anybody else who was present?
A hotel which has a
Hotel which has a
history,
yes, correct. A history to it, like a example. Which hotel in India?
the Taj Hotel,
Yes, Taj also is a heritage, but there's another very famous one in Jaipur. You know the name of that one? The Lake. Yes, yes, correct. Lake Palace, Udaipur also. All these
Jai
are
Mahal.
heritage hotels. What are spa hotels? What, well, why do people go in spa hotels? They go for a holiday, they go for relaxation. What do they go for? I have the same people answering me. I'd like one of the boys to answer. Vaishnav? No?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Can you tell me what's a spa hotel? Why do people go to a spa hotel?
Actually, ma'am, my biggest fear is English grammar. So I
Doesn't
was
matter.
afraid to talk in class that would I have many negative meanings.
Doesn't matter. It will only improve if you speak. If you're going to hide behind the camera, you're not going to be able to speak. You have to speak. Doesn't matter if you're wrong. I'll correct you. Doesn't matter. Just speak. So what do you think is a spa hotel? Why do people go to a spa hotel? Yeah, Vishnu, I'm waiting.
Sorry, ma'am.
Try. Somebody try.
Ma'am, which provide massage and
Yeah.
all.
Rejuvenation or health spas generally give you massages, oil, this thing, meditation, yoga, all these kind. People go there for relaxation or for health issues. Okay, so these are things. Okay. Today we'll start on. Um, we'll continue from where we left. You guys have to read up because in the exam you will be asked this question as to what kind of hotels there are and what what does the heritage hotel mean, what does spa hotel mean, what does resort mean. So you have to understand and learn the depth. So again, just going over yesterday, you have hotels based on city center like Taj Mahal, Mumbai, motels, suburban hotels in suburbs, airport hotels near the airport, resorts and floating hotels which are on rivers or seas. Hotels also like the houseboats in Kerala, You have hotels, palace on wheels, like the train, palace on wheels, the train in Rajasthan, you have that as well. You also, the hotels are also classified on based on size of the property. You have small, medium, large, mega, and chain hotels. I'm just going through this. So, also you have based on theme, based on length of stay. So when you are asked in the exams what are the hotels classified according to, you will have to say size of property, level of service, length of stay, and level of service, length of stay, and based on theme, all this you will have to write. Spas, again, based on target market, so the market that they are trying to get, whether it's casinos or suite hotels or resorts, it depends on that. Okay? Major hotel chains, we went through yesterday, Taj. You have a whole list of Taj hotels here, Oberoi, Ashoka Hotels, Trident, Sheraton. When we came to this, departmental structures, your general manager, 5 people under him, audit, front desk, housekeeping, maintenance, sales. You have the second general manager, he has rooms, food and beverage, human resources, marketing and accounting. Okay? F&B is a short form for food and beverage. Kitchen, we went through this first, front office, concierge, housekeeping, maintenance, all we went through. Financial control, sales and marketing. In food and beverage department, we did this as well. The food and beverage department has a director at the top. He has an assistant director under him and he has an administrative assistant under him. He is in overall charge. They all three together handle all this. The room service manager, beverage manager, chef, steward, executive chef, catering manager, restaurant manager. Below them come creative sales associates, servers, bar persons, stewards, sous chefs, service manager, captain servers, cooks, and housemen. So all this is how it goes from top to bottom. Food and beverage division is responsible for all the food and beverage division is responsible for all the dining rooms, restaurant, bars, galleys, kitchens, clean-up provisions. The food and beverage director runs this department. The dining room manager or the maitre d'. Maitre d' is one who is a restaurant manager, called a maitre d'. Takes care of seating arrangements, service, oversees the whole staff as well. He's like the restaurant manager. So now we come to food. Definition of food. Edible or portable substance, usually of animal or plant origin, consisting of nourishing and nutritive components such as carbohydrates, fats, proteins, essential minerals and vitamins, which when ingested means eaten and assimilated through digestion, sustains life, generates energy and provides growth, maintenance and health of the body. This is your definition of food. So if anybody asks you what's the definition of food, you have to write this. Edible, the word edible means what can be eaten. Edible is the one that we can eat. Portable, see the word here, portable means what we can drink. This is portable. If you put an R here in the middle, it becomes portable, means something that you can carry. So it is not portable, it is portable. Portable, yes? Somebody's mic is on. You switch off the mic, somebody's mic is on. Okay. So portable means something that you can bring, and portable means something that you can carry. So don't make a mistake here. So whatever we eat usually comes from plants or animals, consisting of just nourishing and nutritive. It contains carbohydrates, fats, proteins, minerals, and vitamins. When eaten and when digested, gives us life, gives us energy, gives us growth, maintenance, and health of the body. Okay. Under the maitre are head waiters, and each of them is responsible for several waiters and busboys. Even though waiters and busboys are considered entry-level positions, many cruise ships prefer those with previous experience from a restaurant or a hotel dining room on their resume or CV. It's not resume, it's resume. Oh my God. So many cruise liners also hire people for serving at. Please wait. They hire for serving. All the people who are hired on cruise liners also need people who are trained in the hotel line. The salaries in the cruise liners are very high, but you need trained people. And for training, you not only need to know how a restaurant works, you also need to know what food you serve, whether it's vegetarian or not. Can you give me a minute, please? I'm taking a class. Call back later. So we need to know also about food, what kind of food we serve, what goes inside the food, whether it's vegetarian, whether it's non-vegetarian, we need to know a lot about food. Whether it's the airline or whether it is a hotel line, everybody needs to know what kind of food you're serving, what are the ingredients. There are many ingredients which we have never seen in India, and it is abroad. We need to learn all of them. And we need to pronounce it in the right way. So we'll be learning that today. Depending on the size of the cruise ship, yesterday I showed you all pictures of the cruise ship. There may be several bars. There will be like maybe more than 40 bars, who knows, and because there are 1,000 rooms, over 1,000 rooms on a cruise liner, and there will so many people will be hired for the serving, for the restaurant, for the bars, for the cooking, the chefs, the bartenders, everybody is goes on the ship. So, and service of the drinks is a popular job on board. People who are bartenders, who mix drinks, also have to do a course in learning alcohol. You can studying your wine, making cocktails. You cannot just make whatever you like. You need to learn what goes in which cocktail. So, and when we serve, we also have to have. You don't need a vast knowledge, but basic knowledge of wine, cocktail, and drinks we have to learn. Waiters and waitresses must have prior experience. Okay? The food and beverage department on a cruise ship offers the following restaurant jobs: maitre d' or restaurant manager, dining room head waiter, waitresses, dining room waiter, waitresses, dining room. Okay, cocktail waitresses, bartenders, stewards, stewardess, all this, and buffet stewards. Buffet is, we do not say buffet, we say buffet. Buffet is, you know what a buffet is. When food is served, it is self-help. We have to just go and pick it up ourselves. So buffet is laid down, but there is a way to lay down the buffet. There's a way to decorate it. There is a way to keep things in a proper manner. How you start. There is a format for the food also. What goes first, what goes second, what goes third. We'll be writing that also. So in that case, we will we have to learn all that. So no experience required, some experience preferred, basic English language. This is only for people who are serving, but who are dealing with food need experience. Language knowledge required, strong possibilities of promotion to bar steward, junior waiter, assistant waiter, and waiter. Bar accountant. Bar accountant responsible for accounting procedures of the bar department, accounting background and education required. So anybody who's a bar accountant has to has to know accountancy to be able to keep account of the bar. Bartender is experience required. It's some experience, no, a lot of experience is required in serving beverages to passengers. He should know how beverage is served, in which glass it is served, how it is served. It's a cocktail or a drink. Even the glasses, you have to learn in which drink goes in which glass. Bar stewards and stewardess, they have to have good communication of English language. They also need to know a little about drinks and how to serve. Okay, then bar boy, utility, responsible for cleaning. These are cleaning boys. Responsibility of lounges, restocking the bar. No experience required. Entry level, basic English language. Promotion possibility to bar steward. Dining room, junior waiter, waitresses. This is the beginning entry level again. You become senior later. Everybody has to go through entry level as a trainee and gradually go up. Nobody is going to put you as a manager immediately. Everybody has to go at entry level. All of us went at entry level. Then you have dining room waiters, serving lots of experience, English language required. Dining room head waiter, maitre d', restaurant manager, takes care of seating arrangements, with how the restaurant is placed, how it looks very attractive to attract the guest. Service, he oversees the staff in the dining room. They are the head waiters, and each of them are responsible for all the waiters and bistros. Fluent English language is required because there will be a lot of different guests, foreigners of different nationalities who speak in different accent, and we need to understand them. So that's why we need to learn English language. We have to be good at the English language, and for that you guys need to talk, and you need your personality development will only happen if you talk. You talk to each other. If you're going just because your English is poor, you feel shy and you don't talk to your friends or even this thing, you're going to lack in it and nothing else is going to happen. So you have to try. Let people laugh, it's okay. Everybody makes mistakes. You're not the only one, but try. Okay. Room service and service provided, room service and service provided, oh God. I'm sorry guys, there's a problem with this PC. Service provided in a hotel, allowing guests to order food and drink to be brought to their rooms. So room service means service in the room, where you will be allowed to have food and drink to a guest in this hotel room. As I told you yesterday, it is charged extra, but it is there. Department of the hotel that provides service. Hospitality services, again definition. Hospitality services are a network of people who exchange accommodation. Usually no money is involved. This gives travelers a chance to stay with locals instead of hotels or hostels, giving better perspective on the culture they visit and saving money. Most networks were founded to enable people traveling together more intercultural understanding and to foster peace in the long run. What are hospitality services? These are services given by a lot of groups and people where especially to students and youngsters, whereby you can, suppose you're going to a place, a foreign place, say France, and you are a student, you have these hospitality services where the local people give you their house to stay in. They allow you to stay for a short while in their house. They host you. They are the host. They host you, and they look after you. Sometimes it is an exchange program. They send their people to you, and you have to look after them in India, and you can go there and they look after you. This is mainly to understand, for intercultural understanding, to understand different cultures and how different people live and how they stay at home. We have agri-tourism. There are people who like to stay at farms and work in the farms, in the fields, in the farms. So sometimes they come to India and they work in the farms with us, and sometimes we can go there and work. You're given bed and food, and the remaining is your this thing. So you are not charged for staying there, but you can work on the farm, and they give you a little money to work on the farms. So people who want to learn farming can do that while traveling. Silva's Open Doors, old hospitality exchange organization founded by Robert Lutweiler. You can Google this and also see the oldest hospitality This is also one of the hospitality organizations, again exchange programs where you can stay in people's houses and vice versa. I'm sorry. Hospitality Club, largest hospitality organization, free membership. Again, same clubs where there's an exchange program, you can go live in another country, you have to be part of the members. And Passport Servo is for Esperanto speakers. Esperanto is a language, it's for especially for those people only. They come from South America. Okay. So these are the hospitality services. They will ask you which are the four, you will have to write these four. Next, food and beverage department. Every hotel has a coffee shop. A coffee shop is there are a million restaurants, there are a lot of restaurants inside the 5-star hotels, like Chinese, Japanese, Indian, you name it. They all close after a certain time. The coffee shop is open day and night. So if any guest is hungry in the middle of the night, comes at 3 o'clock, flight comes at 3 and 4 in the morning, and he wants to have a meal, he can go to the coffee shop and have a meal. Also in room dining, the room service is open 24 hours, so you can order a meal at any time of the day and night. So coffee house or coffee shop is an establishment which primarily serves prepared coffee or hot beverages. It shares some of the characteristics of a bar. You can also get a drink, and some of the characteristics of a restaurant. You can also get a snack or a meal. And you won't get a meal, you'll get a snack. But it is different from a cafeteria, as the name suggests. Coffee houses focus on providing tea, coffee, as well as light snack. You can get a light snack like a sandwich or a pizza in the middle of the night, but you cannot get a full meal. Restaurants, which are there, a restaurant prepares and serves food, drink and dessert to customers. It's not dessert, it is dessert. Dessert means sweet dish, dessert means Sahara dessert. With one S, it will be Sahara dessert, and with two S, it will be sweet dish. Meals are generally served and eaten on the premises, and many restaurants also offer takeout food deliveries services. Restaurants vary greatly in appearance and offerings, including wide variety of the main chefs, cuisines and service models. So restaurants give you a wide variety of choice of food. They will also include special meals cooked by the chef and different cuisines. One restaurant may give you two cuisines, like Indian and Chinese, or it may give you three cuisines, depends on that. Are you understanding that? Any questions? Somebody answer, please.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Also, when you're traveling to distant places, you don't see many in India, but especially in US or in UK or in other countries, you see a lot of inns and taverns. Let me show you if I can. This is a typical British inn. Can you see this? The skirted inn. This is a typical British inn where you can get a meal and you can stay for the night. It is overnight only. Generally people stay there just for the night or two maximum. But these are inns, and taverns and inns are almost the same thing. You can get a drink, you can eat something, and this is how it's an old style ones. Generally they're old style ones, so you can inns and taverns is almost the same thing. So inns and taverns are known for their antiquity because they're old antique style, like you just saw. They were establishments aimed at travelers. In the olden days, we had a lot of inns and taverns for travelers. People who wanted to take a stop in the night, were tired of driving the whole night. And in general, locals would eat there also. People in the it's along the highways and the main big roads, so there are small villages on the way. The local people would also eat in a tavern, would meet in the evening for a drink and eat. Modern restaurants as businesses dedicated to the serving of food where specific dishes are ordered by the guests and prepared according to this order. They could place an order and sometimes a meal was made for them. A restaurant owner is also called restaurateur. So, this is the word for restaurateur. It comes from the French verb restaurer, meaning to restore. Some of the hotels, the large hotels, also had, we see less of it now, but initially we had a lot of discotheques. I'm sure you all know what's a discotheque, where people go to dance, drink, and play loud music. A discotheque is an entertainment venue or a club with recorded music played by disc jockey, DJs. Disc jockeys through a PA system means through the public address system means like a mic, rather than on stage band. So PA means public address system. It's an electronic amplification system, mixer, amplifier, loudspeakers. All this is together a PA system. Used to reinforce the sound means make it bigger. Person giving a speech, a DJ playing a recording and distributing sound, all these are through the so in the disco you'll find loud music, you'll find a DJ and you'll find dancing. Some of them still have it, most of them are now outside because sometimes the guests don't like the noise, so they are normally separated from the pub. Is a place where one or more people drinking in multiple pubs or bars in a single night, normally walking or busy. People come into a bar to have a drink, to relax, to chill, to make friends, to talk. So it depends. Bar, the area of the hotel where alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks are mixed and served. Typical locations include hotel lobby. Normally the bar is always in the hotel lobby. or it may be on the top floor. If it's a very high rise, then it could be on the top floor with a beautiful view. Inside a restaurant or a poolside, there's also a poolside bar in the evenings. You can sit by the poolside and have a drink. Often a bar inside a restaurant serves the full restaurant menu. Bar also gives you food, full restaurant meal, and they also give you snacks. It can be a great way to be seated and dine right away, so you don't have to get up, finish drinking and go to a restaurant. You can eat right there, even when the restaurant has a long way. Minibar is something that is in your room. I'll show you what's a minibar. It's given to you in your room. It is a small fridge like this. You'll have some chips, some fruit, some chocolates, some soft drinks, soda, glasses, wine glasses. This is generally in a hotel, a 5-star hotel. Every hotel has a minibar and has this tea coffee. Yesterday we were saying tea coffee for the guest with a kettle. Yeah. So this is all charged for. While checking out, he has to pay if he uses any of this. This is free. This is your minibar again. Everything is charged in the room. This is lot tray. Generally they have 4 drinks like this. You have snacks, you have drinks, you put the money here and punch in whatever you want and it comes out here. So this is your vending machine. Self-help kiosk as they call it. Pre-packaged items of food and beverages meant for the guests who are on the move. If they're in a hurry and they just want to grab a soft drink and a packet of chips or a biscuit, convenience food may be served. They can just go, just put in the required amount of money, pick it up and leave. Scope of service is limited. The next part of your studies is etiquettes. What are etiquettes? Etiquettes are manners which you are supposed to have when you eat in a hotel. Normally what happens is we go to these small restaurants, eat as we like, lick our fingers, everything. In a 5-star hotel, this is not done. There are certain manners which we need to follow. Please write down point-wise as I tell you. Number 1, never start eating before the host. Whoever is treating you for a meal, let that person start eating the meal. So the first point is never start eating before the host starts eating. Number 2, forks. Can you see this? Can you see this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
See the hand that I'm using. Fork is in the left, knife is in the right. The reason being, when you eat meat or vegetables, you hold the thing and cut. It's not possible to cut with your left hand. So fork is always in the left, knife is always in the right. Hold your meal, cut it, eat it this way, never this way. Always this way. Okay? If you're eating peas, rice or corn, that it is not possible to poke every pea with this fork, in that case you can take it on your fork and eat it like this. When I've seen a lot of kids eat like this in a restaurant, it's wrong. It should go in your mouth this way. Okay? Are you getting it? So you cut with your right hand, you hold with your left hand, put the thing in your mouth like this. This is the way you will eat in the restaurant. That is next. Bread. You never cut bread. You can break the bread with your hand, but don't dip it in the tea and eat If you want to have bread with tea, eat the bread and drink the tea. You don't dip it. Those are not considered good manners. Neither do you wipe your plate for the whole curry and eat it. Considered bad manners. So hold the bread in the left and take the curry in the right and eat it. Or drink your tea and eat it this way. That is number 4. Loud noises like burping, all this is considered very, very, very bad manners. So when you eat, don't eat. Sometimes your burp just comes out, you don't mean to, you can just say sorry. You could just excuse me or sorry, but you don't make loud noises when you eat, especially if the next table can hear you, for all that noises, everything has to stop, okay? You have to eat in a nice way. Don't talk with your mouth full. When there is food in your mouth, hold on, finish your food, say excuse me, and finish your food and eat. Nobody wants to see you chewing and eating. Nobody likes to see anybody chewing. So cover your mouth and say excuse me, finish your food and then talk. When you are seated at a table with a lot of people, don't go over like this and pick up stuff. Like a bottle, roti, we have this habit, we like to bend over the table and pick up everything. Ask the person next to you to pass it. Say, please can you pass me the food or the wine? Please can you pass me a plate? You don't have to jump over and fall over somebody and take it. Those are the basic etiquettes. Person who makes the food or who hosts you takes a lot of trouble to make the dishes that you like and to compliment the wine that you like. Don't criticize. If you can't say nice things, keep quiet. Or give a compliment, which is always nice, but if you can't, you must learn to give compliments just as you like to be given compliments. Oh, she looks very nice, he looks very handsome. Somebody is dressed, say, oh, you're looking very nice today. Don't say, oh my God, you're so fat, you're so thin, your hair is a mess, you don't have makeup. Don't say negative things, say positive things. Same way when you serve food, say wow, very nice curry, very nice meal. Next, we have a habit, we eat chicken, we eat meat, and then we remove it from our teeth. Stuck in your teeth, you remove it. You take a pencil, you take a pen, and you do it. Okay? No. You go to the bathroom and do it. Suppose they give you a toothpick. You know what's a toothpick, right? Yes or no? Yeah.
Yes.
When you have a toothpick, take the toothpick, cover your mouth, and pick your teeth like this. It's allowed. You can do that. You can cover your mouth and just pick your teeth. If it's irritating you, you can do that. But not openly like this. We don't want to see your 32 teeth. Okay? Somebody gives you a drink, wine. When you go abroad and you go to 5-star restaurants, they give you separate wines with separate meals. For the starting, they'll give you a wine, then they'll give you a wine with whatever you're eating. Suppose you're eating white meat like chicken, pork, fish, they will give you a white wine. If you are eating red meat, they will serve you a red wine. All the wines we'll be learning later, it goes with the food. So if they give you, doesn't mean you have to finish all the wine, because otherwise you'll be under the table after the meal. If they're going to give you 5 wines and you're going to drink all the 5 wines, you'll be flat out. So no, you can just sip it and leave it. It's okay to leave the wine halfway. It's okay. You can just taste and leave. Have a couple of sips and leave it. You don't have to finish it and get drunk. It's not only eating. You see a lot of nice ways, you just go eating. No. Control yourself. Eat a little. Talk a little. General topics, nothing controversial. Just mild topics, and eat a little. When you're done, cross this and keep it. Cross means I have finished my food. This, keeping it like this means I am still eating. So if this is on your plate, it's facing towards me, I'll face it towards you. If you keep your fork and your knife like this, it means I'm still eating. Open, upwards, okay, towards the table. Suppose you keep it closed like this, meaning I have finished. Or even if you keep it upside down, straight like this, means I have done. Opening and keeping it crossed means the person is still eating. So don't pick up his plate if he's kept it crossed and open. Only pick up his plate if it is crossed or it is upside down this way. Did you get it? Okay, these are the 10 etiquettes of eating. We'll be studying many more etiquettes, but these are the basic 10 that's given in your book. So you have to dinner table etiquettes. Etiquettes means manners. The 10 don'ts. So never start eating before a signal from the host to do so. Forks should not be turned over unless being used for eating peas, sweet corn or rice or similar food, in which case it should be transferred to the right hand. However, at a casual buffet or a barbecue, it is quite acceptable to eat with a fork. So if it's a casual meal in somebody's house and you want to eat with a fork alone, you can do it. But when you're in a restaurant, in a 5-star restaurant, you have to learn how to eat it. It is not generally regarded as good table etiquettes to use one's bread for dipping into soup or mopping up the sauces, the curries. Loud eating noises such as slurping, the sound that you make when you have tea or something, and burping are very impolite. The number one sin of dinner table etiquettes, that's the worst thing you can do. Talking with one's mouth full, it is not only unpleasant to watch, but would also lead to choking. Definitely not a good idea. Don't stretch across the table, crossing other guests to reach for food, wine or condiments. Instead, ask a guest sitting close by to pass the item to you. Good dinner table etiquette sometimes involves a degree of diplomacy when it comes to the host's choice of food and wine. Your host may not have the best food and wine combination, doesn't matter. Even if you understand it, it doesn't matter. Even if you feel you can do better, don't offer your criticism. If you feel you're unable to pay any compliments, at least remain silent on the subject. Picking teeth, unless toothpicks are provided, or licking fingers are very unattractive. Food may be excellent, we still don't lick our fingers. The only exception to the latter is when you're eating meat or poultry on a bone. Suppose you've taken a chicken leg and you're eating it, you can use your hand. In that case, you have to wipe your hand after you finish, on a tissue or on a napkin, you have to wipe your hand. Such as chicken leg or ribs. In any case, a finger bowl will be provided. Finger bowl is provided only in Indian restaurants. It's not provided in abroad. They probably give you a wet tissue. Drinking too much wine can be very embarrassing. Where a different wine is served with each course, it is quite acceptable not to finish each glass. Don't forget to make polite conversation with those guests around you. Dinner parties are not about food. They are intended to be a social occasion. Dinner party is not because you're not getting any food. People have called you just to chit-chat and talk and meet. So do that first. Don't just eat, drink, and go home. I think I'll give you the course later when we come to the next module. So we'll start a little bit module 3, etiquettes in hospitality service. Proper restaurant etiquettes. Proper restaurant etiquette is really no more than basic good manners, common sense, and a little simple knowledge. Having myself worked in a restaurant trade for the best part of my life, I am only too well aware of some of the horrors that befall the general public. Let me share with you my top tips for getting the most from your restaurant experience and achieving the outcome that you wished for. The role of the host or the hostess. This could be at home or in a restaurant, anywhere. Hosting a lunch or dinner party in a restaurant is really no different to hosting one in your own home. The basic principles of restaurant etiquettes are very similar. Number one, plan ahead to give your guests plenty of time to organize their calendars. Invite the guests well ahead in time so that they can keep themselves free. Introduce yourself to the maitre d' and make it clear that you are the host. If you're going to a restaurant, you're giving them a party in the restaurant, you have to go to the restaurant manager and tell him that I am the host and he will be taking all the orders from you. This is particularly important when a female is hosting the party in order for the staff to know whom to refer. So if any problems they want to ask you, they will know who is the person hosting the party, they will come to you. Make sure you give equal of your time and attention to all guests. Same thing you do at home. When you have guests, you make sure that you talk to everybody. Politeness and good manners are absolute essential. If necessary, do a little research beforehand on proper table etiquettes. Keep an eye on all your guests to ensure that they have not been forgotten by the restaurant staff. If it's in a restaurant you're throwing a party, make sure that the staff are looking after all the guests. If wine and drinks are getting low, call the wine waiter and order for more. Avoid sensitive topics of conversation like politics, religion, and other things. If necessary, steer the conversation if it's heading the wrong way. You think somebody is getting into an argument? Change the topic. Take the conversation somewhere else. Above all, do discreetly make sure beforehand that your guests know whether or not they are expected to contribute to the cost of the meal. If it's going to be a meal which they have to pay for, then they should know in advance that they have to pay this much. If it is from you, then it is understood that the party is yours. In the big five-star hotels, generally they have dress codes. So in most restaurants, only a bare minimum of cutlery and glassware will be on the table as you arrive. Generally speaking, restaurant etiquette requires the staff to introduce the appropriate cutlery, glassware as the meal progresses. When we have the meals, as it progresses, the cutlery and the crockery and the wine glasses keep changing. There is a particular plate for particular thing, and as we go further ahead, I will explain to you. So the staff should know which plate goes with what, which wine goes with what, which glass goes with what. The basic principles of good dining etiquette apply in a much same way in a restaurant as they would do at home. Even at home, when you serve the starters, you give a different plate. When you serve the main meal, you give a different plate. When you serve the dessert, you give a different plate. Same thing happens in a restaurant. Dress code. Oh, sorry, I think I jumped. I'm sorry. Dress code. The vast majority of restaurants, including high-end fine dining ones, do not generally enforce a strict dress code. In fact, thankfully, these days, the whole subject of restaurant etiquette is far more relaxed than it used to be. However, if you're not familiar with the restaurant or the style, call the restaurant itself and inquire. Most of the restaurants nowadays are relaxed and they are allowing. Initially, they would not allow you with a t-shirt and jeans and chappals. They wanted you to wear formal clothes, like a shirt, pant, trouser, or lady also with a sari or a western dress and come. But nowadays they've relaxed, they don't much, unless it's a planned party, they don't much care for it. However, if you're not familiar with the restaurant and style, you can still call up the restaurant and ask them, do you have a dress code? They'll tell you that, yes ma'am, we don't allow slippers, we allow shoes, depends on them. And if you remain unsure, then dress on the conservative side to be safe. If you're not sure, you've not asked them, make sure that you dress properly. Alternatively, it's appropriate to speak to the host. Anybody hosting, you can ask them, is there any dress code? Do we need to come in saris? Do we need to come in trousers? Do we need a jacket? You can ask them. They certainly won't want their guest either over or underdressing. Personally, I believe that where a host is going through a lot of trouble and expense, it's good manners to make a little effort over appearance. If the person who's hosting you was giving you a party in a very big restaurant, then yes, please dress properly. Table setting and cutlery. We'll come to that. In most restaurants, only bare minimum of cutlery and glassware will be on the table as you arrive. Generally speaking, restaurant etiquette requires the staff to introduce appropriate cutlery and glassware as the meal progresses. The basic principles of good dining etiquette apply much in the same way in a restaurant as they would do at home. Number one, if you are unable to attend the occasion, give the host as much notice as possible, because the host is treating you in a restaurant, is going to pay for each person. So if you're not able to attend the party, make sure that you inform the host. Always arrive on time. If you are running late, call the host and advise the expected time of arrival. If you are having aperitifs first, I tell you what an aperitif is. Wait for the host to ask you what you would like rather than going ahead and enjoying. Beer is not appropriate as a pre-dinner drink. An aperitif is a drink before the main course, before the main dinner or lunch. It is supposed to enhance your appetite, so only a small amount is given to you, a glass, which you have with a snack. So it is to make you feel hungry. So that is an aperitif. So please write it down, aperitif, pre-dinner drink. At a table, allow the host to indicate where they would like you to sit. Generally in a big hotel, you just don't go and sit on any table, you wait to be seated. Once seated, the waiting staff may well unfold your napkin for you. They may remove the napkin and put it on your lap. A good example of restaurant etiquette rather than so people still do that. That is supposed to be one of the good etiquettes of a restaurant, where they open the napkin for you and put it on your lap. When the menu is presented, if there is anything unfamiliar on it, don't be afraid to ask your waiter to explain it. Remember, they're here to assist you. If you feel there is something in the menu you're not sure, it's a vegetarian, non-vegetarian, what is the dish, you can always ask. If the host is paying, avoid choosing the most expensive dishes. Never overindulge on the quantity that you drink there. Well, this depends. People are telling you not to. When the host is somebody else is paying, we have a habit to order the most expensive. Please avoid doing that, and don't overeat or overdrink. The host will generally order the wines. Always engage equally in conversation with the guests seated both to your right and left. So both the sides talk to people. Once finished eating a course, place your cutlery close together on your plate. I showed you just now. This indicates to the staff that you are finished. As the occasion draws to a close, wait for the host to indicate it is time to leave. Don't just get up and leave. Wait for the host to tell you that we can leave, and always be sure to thank them for their hospitality. This is your table setting for a formal dinner. This is how it goes. First is the salad plate. After that this is for the main. The salad comes first, always. After that, they serve you soup. Third, main entree means the main dish here. There will be two forks to your right, knife to your left, knife to the right. The first one is the salad fork, second one is the dinner fork. This is your napkin folded, which you will put on your lap. You will have 2 spoons. One is a small teaspoon to stir anything, and the one with the round shape is the soup spoon. Cup and saucer for tea or coffee. On the top, the spoons are the dessert spoons. This may be for a soft dessert, and this may be for a cake. You can use any. There will be 2 wine glasses, one for red wine, one for white wine, and third for water. This may be your name card when you invited formally. When you take out the napkin, they generally place the bread plate here. Bread plate and bread knife. You only cut the bread and you can break the bread with your hand, it's allowed. Rest all you have to eat with this fork. Salad is to be eaten with this. Are you all understanding? Any questions? Answer please. So I know you're there.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Veena is the only one who answers me. Thank you, Veena.
Yes.
Yeah, no. Today Veena is not there. Who is that whoever answered? Thank you. So this is how your table setting goes. When you work in the restaurant or in the aircraft, even there you do table setting. So when they ask you to set the table, you'll have to put a tablecloth on the table and you'll have to set this in order. You have to learn what goes there. So always remember that. There is a way to eat. Starts with salad, dinner, salad, soup, dinner, and then dessert. Okay? So this is the way. I have to give you some. Always respond to an invitation within a week of receiving it. Say yes or no, whatever you want to say. Dress according to the recommended dress code. Never attempt to outdress the hostess. Be punctual. If you wish to bring somebody along with you who is not invited especially, good etiquette demands that you should check with the host. Say, please can I bring my friend with me, or please can I bring. You just do not take your friend and land up there. If you are the one hosting a party and the guest of yours arrives with an unexpected friend, you have to be polite and courteous. There's not much you can do, but you can speak with your inconsiderate guest another time. Okay? So,
Yes, ma'am.
again here, they have, this is your main plate in the restaurant. Number 1, sherry glass. This is an aperitif which you have before the meal, a sherry. Second would be wine, white, red, depending on the meal, whatever the person wants to have, white or red. The larger goblet will be the water goblet. The bigger glass will be the water goblet. Number 5, this is another kind of a fork given to you for to eat seafood, if you need to scoop anything. Number 6, soup spoon. Number 7, dinner knife. Number 8, dinner fork. Have you seen the difference between this fork and this fork? These are called tines, T-I-N-E. So there are 4, there are 3. Number 9, salad fork. These are dessert spoon and dessert fork, always kept on top because it's the last thing you have. Salt and pepper shaker, salt and pepper. 11 is butter, bread and butter plate with a butter knife. This is what goes into every meal. I will not start the 4th module. I will instead I'll give you some notes. Get your papers and pens out. We have served two kinds of breakfast. One is called the continental breakfast and one is called the American breakfast, the full breakfast. So write this way in a line. I want you to write.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay? Whatever I give you, write it in a line. I'm not able to write it here, so you'll write it, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
If you don't know what it is, let me know. Next to marmalade, write /jam. So continental breakfast will be juice, tea or coffee, breads. Coffee spelling is COFFEE. Butter and marmalade, and jam and fruits. This is called when you ask for continental breakfast, this is what you will get. Right there, breakfast breads. Write breakfast breads, because breakfast breads and dinner breads are different. Have you all finished? Let me know.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now you can write regular breakfast. Sorry. Next is regular or American breakfast. What are the items that go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Write in a line. Write juice, tea, coffee, hot chocolate. Afterwards, you write what I'm giving you. Write this. Before compote, write fruit compote. Please write fruit compote. So you wrote juice, you wrote tea, coffee, hot chocolate, then comes compote. Compote means it's a bowl of diced, cut, peeled, seeded, de-seeded fruits in syrup. They give you the fruits, sweet fruits in syrup. After that, breads. After that, butter, marmalade, jam.
Ma'am, can you repeat the third one?
Okay, juice, tea, coffee, hot chocolate, compote, what I've written there, compote paired, de-seeded and diced fruit in syrup, then breads, then butter. You know what's a marmalade? Do you know, anybody knows what's a marmalade? Marmalade, okay, marmalade is jam which is made out of the skin of the fruit rather than the fruit. Like you get orange marmalade which is made from the skin of the orange. It is not from the fruit inside. The fruit inside is jam. When it's made from the cover, it's marmalade. It's a little bitter, okay? People like that. Then you come to cereal. You all know what's a cereal, like cornflakes, rice flakes, many oats, all these are cereals. Then you have to serve cereal. This is a regular breakfast served this way. After that, you come to entrée. Entrée in French means main meal. So an omelette, or for the vegetarian dosa, idli, upma, whatever, that is the main breakfast is called an entrée. And last, fruits, tea, coffee. This is the line of American breakfast. Okay? Can somebody read to me what you have written? Somebody please read.
The first one is juice,
Yes.
tea, coffee or hot chocolate,
Yes.
comfort,
Compote. Compote.
compote, bread,
Bread. Bread.
sliced,
Yeah.
bread is the fourth one.
Pared means the skin removed. De-seeded means seeds removed. Diced is made into cubes. And fruit and syrup. Then you have
Yeah, the
bread.
fourth.
Hmm.
Yeah, then is butter, marmalade and jam.
You've written breads before that?
Yes, ma'am, fourth one.
Okay. Okay. Then
The sixth one is cereal, and the seventh one
Yes.
is entree, which means the
Yes.
main meal, and the last one is fruit.
yes. Correct. That's how it goes. Okay. Then we come to lunch and dinner. Lunch and dinner. And you start writing number 1. I'll explain to you, but just write bread and butter, number 1. Number 2, salad and salad dressing. Salad and salad dressing. Okay? Got it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Salad and salad dressing. You know what is a salad dressing? Do you know what is a salad dressing?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh man.
Okay. Okay. When we cut salad, we generally put salt, lime, juice, everything, right? Pepper and all. That's the dressing. When or to the hotels, we get a various variety of dressing. It is made in different ways. Those you have to study all those ways of dressings. But for now, all we know is we have to serve a dressing. Whatever dressing they give you, they'll ask you, do you want an Italian dressing? Do you want an French dressing? Generally, the famous ones are Italian and French. So they'll ask you, and you have to get a salad dressing for you. It contains sometimes olive oil, mayo, all sorts of things mixed. The next one is something like starters, but it is pronounced differently. I'll explain to you. This after D, it's an O. Okay? It's pronounced as hors d'oeuvres. This is the pronunciation of hors d'oeuvres. This is pronounced as hors d'oeuvres, which means a small snack or a starter in French. Generally, they'll ask what hors d'oeuvre you would like to have, and you will be lost not knowing what. So it's pronounced as hors d'oeuvres, but it is written like this. Then comes soup, and main entree, like chicken, vegetarian, whatever. Dessert. There is a difference between dessert, as I told you. Dessert is Sahara dessert, and dessert is sweet dish. Same with portable and potable. Okay, then comes Then comes